In this video, I'm going to introduce Remix Desktop. Remix Desktop is the desktop version of the Remix IDE. Contrary to the web version of Remix, the desktop version runs on your operating system directly and not in your browser. Those two versions are mostly the same, but there are a few differences like offline mode, access to the local file system, and the built-in terminal. Let's go over this. Before using Remix Desktop, you need to download it. You will find the download link in the description down below. As you can see, Remix Desktop is very similar to the online version. You have the menu bar on the left, the contextual menu, the terminal, and the main part where you will see the code. But still, there are a few different features, so let's go over them. First, let's cover offline mode. With offline mode, you can work when you are not connected to the internet. This can be very useful if you are in a place with low or no connectivity at all, such as an airport, a coffee shop, or during an internet outage. Before going offline, you need to make sure that you have downloaded the Solidity compilers that you need. For that, you need to go to the compiler menu and open the drop-down. The green icons show you the compiler versions that you have already downloaded. To download a version that you don't have, you just have to click on it. Reopen the drop-down and you will see a green icon once the download is finished. When you are online, you will see a green icon here. And when you are offline, this will turn into a red icon. And when you are offline, you can keep using Remix with the compiler versions that are already downloaded. Next, I'm going to show you how to work with the local file system. On the online version of Remix, your Solidity files are saved in browser storage. The browser storage is not a good place for long-term storage. At any time, it might be deleted because of a browser reset, or even by you who accidentally clear your browser cache. For serious projects, it's better to use other options such as your local file system or pushing to a local repository. The online version of Remix can work with your local file system, but you need to use a plugin. However, Remix Desktop can work with your local file system natively, no need to configure anything. Let me show you how. Click on the File Explorer menu, then click on the Open Folder button. Then you select the project folder and click on Open. By the way, it's also possible to create a new folder from here. Then let's create a new Solidity file. Let's put some code in it. Now let's open the terminal on our machine. We can confirm that the file was saved locally. And we can also see that the code was saved. Next, I'm going to show you how you can quickly bootstrap a new project with templates. When you create a new project, you have to select which template to use. If you don't want any, you just pick blank. But you can also select one of the templates like ERC20. You will have to name the workspace, then pick a folder or create a new one. Contrary to the online version of Remix, with Remix Desktop, when you load a template, it's saved on your local file system. And now you can start working on your project. It's also possible to clone a Git project. You just have to give it a URL and it will save it locally in a folder of your choice. Next, I'm going to show you how to work with several instances of Remix. When you work on several codebase at the same time, it's more convenient to have separate instances of Remix like in VS Code. Turns out it's possible to do this in Remix Desktop. You just have to go to the File menu, then click on New Window or Open Folder in New Window. Next, I'm going to show you how to use the built-in terminal. To open the terminal in Remix, you just have to click here. Since we already have a project open, the terminal is already in the same folder. This is the same terminal that you use outside of Remix, and you can use any command. For example, let's see the files inside our folder. You can also use commands specific to a smart contract framework like Hot Hat or Foundry. It's also possible to create other instances of the terminal. You can switch between the different instances. You can delete instances, and finally, you can use different shells like Bash, ZSH, etc. Next, I'm going to cover how you can use VS Code and Remix at the same time. Even though Remix Desktop is a great tool for smart contract development, VS Code is also very popular. So which one should you choose, Remix Desktop or VS Code? You can use both at the same time. For example, you can use VS Code to write your code and use Remix for debugging and testing. Since Remix Desktop can access your local file system, everything will be in sync. So for example, here we have the same file open in both windows. If I make a change in VS Code, this is reflected in Remix. And if I make a change in Remix, this is reflected in VS Code. Next, we are going to discuss smart contract deployment. To deploy your smart contract, you have to go to the deploy menu. Like for the online version of Remix, you have access to a local development blockchain. This is a great option if you are just testing your contract. However, contrary to the online version of Remix, you don't have access to browser wallets like MetaMask. This makes it a bit harder to deploy to mainnet or to public testnet. But don't worry, there is still a solution. You click on Wallet Connect, then you click on Connect, and you will have the option to connect to a few mobile wallets, including MetaMask. For example, if you want to use MetaMask, you select MetaMask, then you install MetaMask on your mobile. You scan this QR code from your MetaMask on mobile, and after that, you will be able to send a transaction. Another option for deployment is to connect to a node directly, such as Infura or a local chain like Hot Hat or Envoy. And for that, you have other options in the environment dropdown. Alright, that's it for this video.